Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so we're going to be starting our next activity. And remember, we're talking about measurement this week. So we really need to remember that our story problems are going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. But the steps are still the same, right? We still have a 3 reads protocol when we're doing a story problem. They're asking us to do something a little bit different. So today, as you look at this picture, I want you to visualize what our story is about and really use this picture to help you make that movie in your head. So remember, the first time we read, we're asking ourselves what's happening in the story, who are the characters, and what are the characters doing. The second time we read today, we're going to be talking about and pulling out some vocabulary words that are going to help us solve the problem. And then the last time we read, our third time, we're putting all that information together and we're going to see what are we being asked to do. All right. So as we read, please make a movie in your head to help you understand what's going on in the story problem. Miss Yakimowicz loves flowers. In the beginning of March, she decided to plant 3 sunflowers in her community garden. It's been 2 months since she planted the sunflowers and wanted to see how much they grew. Look at the picture of Miss Yakimowicz's garden. Using the sentence stem, show Miss Yakimowicz which sunflowers are the tallest and shortest in her garden. Okay. So now you can take a minute to think about, who are the characters and what did the characters do? Teachers, when you're ready, show me a thumbs up. Thank you. All right, Ms. Rosales, what are you thinking? Who is the character and what is our character doing in the story?
So you're in the story. You ended up planting some some flowers in the community garden. I don't know how many. You started them in March, and now you're checking them again in May, 2 months later. And you're trying to figure out which one is the shortest and which one is the tallest.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now let's look at our story problem on page 2, and we're going to read the story one more time, or 2 more times. But this time we're going to pull out some key vocabulary words that are going to help us understand what we need to do. Miss Yakimowicz loves flowers. In the beginning of March, she decided to plant 3 sunflowers in her community garden. It's been 2 months since she planted her sunflowers, and she wanted to see how much they grew. Look at this picture of Miss Yakimowicz's garden below. Using the sentence stem, show Miss Yakimowicz which sunflowers are the tallest and shortest in her garden. Okay, so what are some key words that we want to pull out from this story problem that we might not know about or we might need clarification on? Miss T, what are you thinking? What is a word that we might need clarification on?
So I remember in our second read, we were trying to understand the math terms. And for this one, there are some numbers in here, but I'm wondering if those numbers are really important for us to use to solve the problem. So one of the numbers I noticed was there's 3 sunflowers, which is important because we know we're comparing these 3 sunflowers. But I don't really need to know how long it took for you to grow those sunflowers because that's not going to help me figure out which one's the tallest and the shortest. So the 2 months part, I'm just going to ignore. But then the last 2 words, the math terms I recognized was tallest and shortest. Now I know in my prior knowledge that sunflowers, they grow up. So because they're growing up from the ground, I know I'm going to be measuring height today. So I'll be looking at the tallest, which one's growing the highest, or which one's growing the shortest, which is just a little bit. So shortest and tallest, that's what I'll be looking at.
Perfect. Thank you, Miss T. All right, so now that we took those vocabulary words out and we understand, okay, we're looking at height because sunflowers do grow vertically. They grow up to the sun, right? That's why they're called sunflowers, because they're looking for the sun. We're trying to figure now we're going to do our third read and we're going to ask ourselves, what do we need to do to complete this story problem to our best ability? Okay. Miss Yakimowicz loves flowers. In the beginning of March, she decided to plant 3 sunflowers in her community garden. It's been 2 months since she planted her sunflowers, and she wanted to see how much they grew. Look at the picture of Miss Yakimowicz's garden below. Using the sentence stem, show Miss Yakimowicz which sunflowers are the tallest and shortest in her garden. Okay, so what do we need to do to solve this problem? Remember, friends, you can pause the video to think about what do we need to do? What are you being asked to do? What are we being asked to do? All right, Ms. Rosales, what are you thinking? What do we need to do to solve this problem?
Well, we need something, some form of tool to help us see how tall each plant grew so that we can know what is, how high each plant is. I don't know if that's going to be possible though.
We actually have two tools that we have right now, and I'm sure there are different tools that we can use too, but one of the tools that I've been talking about is reference points. So what we can do first is use this tool, and what it is you look at one of the objects. So I'm going to start with sunflower A, and I'm going to go to the very top. So we notice that all of the sunflowers are almost at the same starting point, right? Except for this little guy, maybe. All right, so they start at the ground, and that's an even level for all of them. So now we know that they start at the same spot, but how far up or how tall are they? So I can look at sunflower A, and I'm going to look at the top of sunflower A and make a little mark. And from there, I'm going to continue going past all of the other flowers. And what I notice is that this flower the line is above sunflower C. So that kind of tells me something. It tells me that sunflower A is taller than sunflower C. And then I can use a different color to really show the difference in all of the heights, right? Then I can go up to sunflower B in the top of the sunflower right here. And I can make a reference line, a reference point here. And I notice that this sunflower, the top of it, it doesn't touch any other sunflower stems or leaves or their petals. So this one looks like it might be the tallest. But there's a second tool that we can use too. So this is one tool where we can use our marker on Seesaw to really make those reference points. But a different thing we can use, another tool, is when you go to the three little dots on the side, you can pick shapes. And on these shapes, there's actually, oopsie, not that one. There is a 10 rod right here. If you can see, they have a 10 rod. And I'm going to use that to help us. I'm going to make it a little bit, should I make it smaller, teachers? So you could make it smaller to help you a little bit fit in this space, but you need to make sure that you keep it the same height when you're measuring all of your objects, because then it'll give you a different answer, right? So I'm going to just keep it like this, and I'm going to put the starting point on the pink line. So on the pink line right there, and then I want to count how many squares high our sunflowers are. So if I see this sunflower, I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sunflowers, 5 squares. So this is about 5. I'm just going to put 5 right here, 5 units, right? 5 squares. But then I can move it around. Let me erase this. And let's move it around. Let's move it, and I'm not changing the size now. I'm just gonna scoot it over so that it touches our sunflower B. And so now I'm gonna count the squares or the units for sunflower B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's going a little bit more, so I can say it's maybe almost 7.5, or should we just say 7? 7? All right, thank you. So it's about 7 units, right? So 7 squares tall. Okay, now let's go to our last sunflower, sunflower B, and let's move our measuring tool to that side. So here we go. And then I'm going to use my marker to count. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is about 4 units tall. So now we have a numerical tool to help us and see how tall it is in terms of numbers. And let's see if that's any different than what we expected. So at first, we were saying that, let's move this over. At first, we were saying that sunflower C is the shortest because it doesn't reach that height, the height of the other sunflowers. Is this true? Yes, it is true, because we can notice not only do we see that it's shorter than the other heights, but it's also the smallest number, right? It has the smallest number of units. Okay, looking at these numbers and the reference point, which sunflower would be the tallest sunflower? Miss T?
Sunflower B.
And how do you know?
Because it has the highest height with using your reference point and the highest number of units with 7.
Great. So those are two different strategies you can use to really figure out what object is the shortest and what object is the tallest. And now that we know our answer, we can press this text box, and this is actually already it's unlocked for you. So what you can do is you can write on top of it, and you can delete that part and just put sunflower C is the shortest sunflower. And then we want to ask, what is the tallest sunflower? Miss T already said it, sunflower B. So now we put sunflower B is the tallest sunflower. And notice how Miss T Kimwich is writing sunflower C, sunflower B. We want to be very explicit about what we're talking about and which sunflower we're talking about. So which item and what it's called, so we know it's a sunflower, and which number. And I lettered them, I alphabetized them so that you really understand which one is the sunflower, because sunflowers don't have names. So I gave them a little code or a little name. And we can put that so that we understand which one's the tallest and which one's the shortest. So I hope that this is helping you understand what height is and how to measure height in objects. If you have any questions, remember to always message us, and we're going to continue working on measurement for this week and maybe the next week, obviously the next week, because we have some more things we need to talk about. So again, if you have any questions, please let us know, and we will try our best to clarify them either on Class Dojo or here in our videos. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Don't forget to subscribe.